have now clicked go live because for some reason OBS is just driving me insane. Let us hope that this stream is now working. We are 5 minutes removed from the start of the actual Apple event. I'm insanely stressed. But I am so grateful for everyone who already joined. I saw you guys being really interested in sharing this experience with me. I'm so insanely grateful for it. I hope this stream works now, because I will go insane if it won't. Like, literally, this is like, I have had problems with OBS, never like this. Oh, it seems to be working now, thank God. And yeah, the stream hasn't yet started. So I'll just very briefly, I'll also let people know on Twitter, right? Okay, so Twitter now knows. At least I hope so. Yeah. So I apologize. I wanted to start really early so that we could all get into the groove basically here. But at least it all seems to be working. Oh, DreamSMP, you're also here. Guys, it's not like I'm even stupid. I've really set up everything. Like, my Apple TV is connected to the personal hotspot on my iPad. It's insane how many precautions I took to make sure that everything just works. And at the very worst moment, OBS decides to behave like an open source software. It's so crazy. Thien Chai, what fixed it? The third freaking laptop reboot and OBS reboot and deleting the iPhone video capture and reinstalling, basically re-enabling it. I don't know which of the three things did it. I think it might be kind of a combination of all three. I'll also just briefly like send the link to all the necessary sources here. Because it is insanely stressful what I'm going through right now. But it seems that it is all coming together quite nicely at this point. Yes, great. Guys, please, as always, in the chat now, let me know if everything is working. It seems to be working well. I have eaten like half a bowl of popcorn at this point. The Apple event starts in 60 seconds. I will briefly check if it's connected to my AirPods. Here. Yep, that's good. We did it! We made it! Finally! Oh my god, this was so insanely stressful for me. Oh, I had hoped to make such an organized stream where you guys join one by one right in the first half hour. But yeah, thanks to everyone who like endured it. I know it's been more than a mess in that regard. For some reason my iPad stopped charging though. Through my Mac, now it's charging again. So we'll go through like fixing every single issue. It's quite crazy. Okay, now we do have several people watching. The number is like fluctuating up and down, which I understand. You do have like the Mac Rumors live stream. I'll try to make it just ever so slightly smaller. I'm sorry if I'm speaking very fast. I tend to do that when I'm nervous. Gosh, I must look so freaking sexy with the sweat and like me stuffing popcorn in my mouth. This stream is for the true fans. The true fans who can endure me in my baggiest, biggest shirt that I have. After losing an extra 20 pounds, it's even bigger than it used to be. with the sounds of the fan blowing into my back and all the jazz. So if you are going to make it through this stream, you are going to be an honorary MarkTech fan for life, regardless if you keep watching or not. We have more people telling us that they're here, which is fantastic. Oh my god, and it should be starting right about now in terms of Apple. Yes. And the audio works through my AirPods. Please, whoever is still here, please let me know if everything is now working fine for you. We have 7 people watching, so it seems like my prayers reached Twitter and the YouTube algorithm and whatever. Again, I cannot unfortunately stream the Apple video, but we are going to have the Mac Rumors like live blog here, and of course I am listening to the event and watching it as much as I can, even though part of the TV is covered up with my MacBook being in the way. Ooh, underpants. Is it going to be one of those iPhone is all global ads, right? Like you can find it in the hands of every people in the world, which I mean is true. Origin, I know, time to hate on everything like the Android fanboy I am. If it floats your boat, man, and if it gets me more viewers in the stream. We have 10 people watching, which we haven't have had for a while. Though the last stream have had like 10 people peak watchers, but we didn't sustain that for long. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of those like really heartfelt ads. I don't think they've really worked since like, well, the Apple Watch, we save actual lives videos work on me. And like the FaceTime, well, it is, and the Apple Watch notifies her of a low heart rate. She went to the hospital. Yeah, it makes sense. Mac Rumors, we're starting with a video showing a number of people interacting with Apple tech in their day-to-day lives. Got trapped miles of trail while rappelling, used emergency SOS. Yeah, to me, I don't need those videos because I actually like read about the stories when it happens. But obviously the vast majority of people will not have that understanding. Oh yeah, no need to refresh. That's nice. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Because I think it's pretty self-explanatory to anybody watching the actual stream. We are seeing a ton of people doing regular day-to-day stuff and talking about their plans for the future, and what the iPhone helped them with is like overlaid on the screen. I'm not a big fan of this. Origin Type-C, our revolutionary jump never before seen on an iPhone. Well, yeah, never seen before on an iPhone, but don't forget which company had the first truly mass-market USB-C product with the 2015 MacBook Air. And in fact, Apple has really had like high-quality USB-C accessories at the time when like the Android market was like going crazy with how cheap a lot of, and just how bad a lot of USB-C accessories were in the market. Oh, this video is way too long in my opinion. Whenever I'm rewatching this event, I'm skipping it. Okay. Okay, I am fully live. Maybe I do have like a 2-second delay. Nadim, hi. I have not seen you yet in one of my streams live, so thank you very much for joining. And we're now in Apple Park with Tim. Oh, big announcements. Apple Watch and iPhone. Oh, he even put it in my order. I'm doing the Tim Cook post for you. Wait, what? What is happening? Yeah, Origin, you'll be back. I know, you already let me know last stream. That's great. Is the best. Wait, what can they be announcing for the Mac? Wait, what's happening? Are they like dropping prices or something? Wait, what's going on? Why the recap? I'm really looking forward to the next show, season of the morning show. Wait, what's the announcement? Okay, early. Is it? Oh, that was a recap. Maybe they thought that like there wasn't like enough like media understanding and they want to like reuse all events to talk about the Mac and Vision Pro? Yeah, I would. Maybe it's like there's like a 2 to 3 second difference between obviously what people are seeing there and what I'm seeing, which makes sense. Even like Europe should have worse than America in general. Was that pink? Was it the rumored pink color? Okay, maybe some new features are exclusive to the new S9 chip. Oh, okay, yeah, well. 5? Wait, that's a lot of transistors for an Apple Watch chip. 30% faster, so I think Apple is like putting a lot of the transistors into just making it wide and slow. So the yeah, okay, now that makes sense. Yeah. Yes, hey, that's what I predicted. That Siri, thanks to a new neural engine, would run on device. That's fantastic. That's also great. I love dictation accuracy. We need more Siri functionality throughout all system settings, through just the entire device. So this is really good. Yeah, I'm using it in English. I hope it's not limited region-wise. Okay, now we are at the point where they will bring up software features. Well, that's great. Oh, the rumor was 100% true. Oh, it has the screen from the Apple Watch Ultra. Nice, nice, nice. Oh my god, that's the finger tappy. Yeah, oh. Yeah, so they basically like took the accessibility feature and they transplanted it into the main OS, because they now have the extra accuracy that Mark Gurman mentioned through the new system on a system in a package, right? That's why it's called a SIP, not an SoC. Oh my, that's so good. People will be so angry that's not coming natively to old. I'm sorry I'm not muting the microphone as I usually do while I'm eating. For one, the cable to my microphone is kind of broken, but I'm also talking a lot while still eating. Man, that's... I love, like, double tap by itself is like, that's a new part of the actual user experience. That's a big one. I would be kind of afraid of that one though, if like your Apple Watch is like ringing to wake you up and you can just mute it by doing this. That will be a little problematic because you can do that really easily subconsciously and then fall asleep right after. I would still recommend putting on the alarm on like a bigger standalone device, whether it's like an alarm clock or maybe something like just a big iPad next to you. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, by the way. Like, that you could fall asleep right after because it's so easy to turn off. Next month. Wait, oh, will it take like WatchOS 10.1? You don't need both Starlight and Silver Apple. Now I'm not interested in gold anymore. I was always interested only in space black. I am Tim! Oh, that's really cute. A dead plant. Wait, who will come over? Oh, okay, yeah. That's so cute. Well, but not the climate, apparently. Oh, that's pretty self-aware. Oh wow, that's a nice call out to the iPod Shuffle. Oh, oh, they mentioned the leather thing. But not the iPhone production. That one is not carbon neutral. shipping by ship is also cheaper than by plane. The reason why they were using a lot of like plane transportation was because of the pandemic. Some carbon. Please don't remove all carbon from the atmosphere. Notice they didn't mention a percentage for the water reduction. It's incredibly difficult to reduce water reduction. Apple has like servers to cool, and there's a lot of water in production and stuff like that. It's a cute video. There's a lot of information there. It started kind of cringe, but I like it. And does she come over once a year? Oh, now they're gonna talk about the leather thing. Oh no, Lisa is not on the roof. What are we going to do? Nice. That's really good. Wait, is that true? That's dope. There's a reason they're doing this for the Apple Watch, not the iPhone. Well, let's see. Maybe they will. I doubt it, though. You know what would help? Remove the band by default. You could also eventually like switch to like hydrogen chips, but then you also need to consider how the hydrogen is produced. So there are some decent improvements recently in like ship transportation efficiency. Oh, that's because, yeah, that's because they are buying basically up stuff for like the electricity. They will invest into renewable energy. They'll plant like trees and stuff. Okay. I wonder when that will happen, like for the iPhone. I assume it would happen like quicker on like MacBooks, because you would produce like less of them. Yeah, now we're getting rid of leather. And there we go. I put on my Apple Watch leather band for this. I love FineWoven as the name. Wait, what? Oh, I like those Hermes bands for once. I feel sorry for like people like Rene Ritchie, who will definitely like buy half of those bands. The collectors. New cycling features, Series 9 precision finding for iPhones, advanced cycle tracking. Wait, what? How? Is like the temperature sensor better or something? Did I miss that? I like what they did here. I wondered why they were talking so much about the environment, but given that it's their first, especially the first like really mass produced like carbon neutral gadget from them, that's kind of really dope that they like I thought this would kill the pacing, but I ended up really liking it for now. Oh, they call it Ultra 2. Interesting. Yeah, I assume it won't have like extra functionality over the over the Series 9. Okay, yeah, I'm buying the Ultra. Ninja is still watching for the watch with the hologram features. Yeah, maybe wait another 10 years. We'll spend it all during the longest live stream ever. 10 years. Oh! Yeah, I guess the ocean band, given that it needs to be like really durable, uses like a lot of like virgin plastic, I guess. Yeah, this is what I wanted. Wait, but it's not black. Black. Oh no, there's no black titanium. Now I don't know which one I will buy. Oh no. No, the black titanium was wrong. No, this cannot be happening. Damn. Thinchai, I saw your last message. It's you said maybe your mini tablet would come with it. Well, that would be cool if Apple was like upstaged this way. Where's black? Oh, maybe they're maybe they're waiting with black titanium until they show the black titanium iPhone. iPhone time, baby. Oh, we are going with the 15 first. Rounded corners or edges. I don't remember which one it is. Oh man, this will be so much more comfy. Oh yeah, and dynamic island. I was like, what are they showing here? Oh yeah, right. That didn't. I don't know. It feels like my stream is like 5 seconds behind. Oh yeah, I guess that adds a little bit to the bezel, the slightly curved aluminum and titanium then later on. This is why the bezel, like the width didn't shrink as much as the bezel reduction. Because the aluminum is like 1/10 of a millimeter thicker, so to speak. More dynamic island features. That will satisfy Twitter for 5 seconds. Or are they just advertising like third parties? Yeah, it's for now it's third parties. Uh-huh. It's not higher refresh, is it? It's not even 90 hertz. Wait, peak. Wait, what? Wait, that's LT. That's like LTPO level. It's not higher refresh, but it's interesting. It also has a matte glass back. Wait, that's blue? Wait, what? Wait, am I colorblind? That looks white to me. Man, it gets a ton of stuff from like the pros, except for even like 90 hertz. Like, come on, LTPS panels can run well at 90 hertz. The cobalt thing in the battery, the fact that it also applies to the iPhone is really dope. No, they didn't show like a copper cooling port. Oh man, the colors are gorgeous. I'm so disappointed that this does not even have like 90 hertz. 2 micrometer quad pixel. Yeah, 2 microns quad pixel. That is a smaller sensor, right? Isn't it 2.2 or 2.4 on the 14 Pro? So it is a smaller sensor, but it is a stack sensor. It's also f1.6, so this will have really, really good low light. Wait, what? That's interesting. Wow, what does that... Well, that means that I don't have to use ProRes all the time now. ProRAW. Yeah. Which, given how bad a lot of like 2x actual like optical shooters are and how good this main camera will be, this will actually be better than a lot of like bad stuff on the market. Yeah, right. They're bringing up my points. Like it's still like fused with like f1.6 aperture. It has still like sensor shift image stabilization. No like 2 to 3x telephoto camera will have that stuff. And then zoom out, or what do you mean? There are more camera changes here than I expected. Like I'm not an expert in what the portrait, like how it will actually be better. It seems like it's just better at recognizing stuff, but like we've seen like AI stuff recognition on Android. It hasn't always worked for the best. Oh, that's cool. I think that's kind of a confirmation that HDR is improved. If it works that well, even in portrait mode, it has to be like much improved. What about ultra wide? Does ultra wide not have Wait, what about ultra wide? Does ultra wide not have like close up? Man, ultra wide is really falling apart behind the regular, like the pros. Yeah, they were gonna talk about A16. Come on. Yeah, but the memory bandwidth isn't really utilized, given that the GPU by itself is not really that much more powerful. I wonder if they're not mentioning battery life to avoid the Plus has better battery life than any other iPhone, because that kind of looks bad for the pros, and the pros definitely seem to be the priority here. I mean, there are some obvious like cut downs here. No higher refresh rate screen, not the latest chip, obviously, not no new ultra wide camera. I assume that also means it has like a new microphone that is like tuned for that algorithm. Audio quote? No. Alexander, hey, welcome to the stream. Oh my god, yeah, they haven't talked yet about USB-C. Yeah, but it has USB-C, okay. Yeah, I didn't even... The Mac Rumors live blog was like faster than my streaming. Man, wouldn't you wish this was symmetrical? This drives me crazy. Alexander, what do you mean when is the event? What do you mean when is this event? It's happening right now. Why do you think it's a live stream? I might get a pair. Just for fun. Wired earbuds. It's okay, Alexander, I understand. You can check it out via Apple's YouTube page. Oh, standard cheat too. Apple is committing to standards, calling them even by their name. Wait, 4K 60 HDR video out? I wonder if that means that like the 2000 nit brightness screen on the non-Pro, if that means that we're getting like 3000 nits on the Pro. I think this phone is a little too cut down for any enthusiast, but I do think it's a good phone. But yeah, the Pro will be the main event definitely here. And they come at the same price. Yeah, I wonder what happened to like European prices. Probably the same. The reason why I'm saying is because it's the euro like regained some ground over the dollar. Oh, it's Nikes. I thought they were like I have like very similar looking Hugo Boss sneakers to his shoes. Wait, are those the same colors basically as the Apple Watch? No, not fully. No. Titanium! Titanium! Oh, it looks so freaking good. Oh man. Oh, I love the brush look. I've never been a super big fan of the glossy one. This might be... Ooh, what kind of case will I use here? The bezels didn't look that much smaller, but it's a 1/3 reduction. It might not be that visible from every angle. Is that the Titan gray color they're showing off right now? Wait, who's introducing the iPhone? Okay, yeah, Greg. Yeah, I think prices are increasing by $100 and they're keeping 128 gigabytes as the base storage. I think the last minute rumors leaks were quite kind of correct. I assume they really wanted to go for like the lightest Pro model things. Okay, so it is thinner. Oh, that looks so good! More of the other colors. Man, can you imagine if like those 4 like leaked colors prove to be wrong? Yeah. You don't usually use like raw titanium. Essentially, you use alloys. Yeah, I was gonna say. That should help with cooling, right? Yes. Yeah, that will be good. Titanium by itself is trash for heat dissipation, but the fact that it like transports the heat directly from aluminum is really, really good. Oh my god, I just saw the colors on Mac Rumors. Oh my god, the blue! The blue is driving me insane. It's so good. Oh, blue titanium. Nice. I love everything they've said and shown thus far. But you can also open the camera. What? Oh. Yeah, that's like really good for like reporters and stuff. Like camera. Oh my god! I always wanted the camera button on my iPhone. Can you do like double taps, double presses? Oh yes. Tell me, baby. I think the specs are probably about the same, right? Come on. Specs. A17 Pro. Pro instead of Bionic. How much faster? It's come on, it's a 3nm chip. It has to be like at least like 15-30%, like 15% CPU, 30% breakthrough new GPU. Oh, I'm so excited. Less for the iPhone and what it probably means for the Mac. I'm calling it right now. GPU has ray tracing, hardware ray tracing. Yeah, it's hard to work with 3nm. 19 billion transistors versus 16. Oh, calling it out directly as microarchitectural improvements. I expected 15, but it's still not bad. Yeah, that's what I expected. A much faster neural engine. Given how many tasks in the operating system are now running on the neural engine, this will be huge. You don't need that much more CPU performance if so many tasks are like not on the actual CPU. And AV1 encoders. Nice. I do assume it still has like H264 and H265 encoders and decoders. Yes, I basically guessed it right. It's USB 3 10 gigabits. It's not Thunderbolt. It's an optional USB 3 cable. So the included shit cable is not even USB 3. I don't like this. Okay. What? Gosh. What? Oh gosh, what did they do to the GPU? Did they feed it? Performance features, I guess? Yeah, rendering features have to. Okay, that's not that big. I thought mesh shading was like working through Metal 3 in general. Or did ray tracing? Yes. This is basically the 20 class update from NVIDIA. Nice. It's basically 4 times faster over software rendering, plus 20% faster over last gen. Yeah, that's exactly the calculation I was currently making. Yes! Yes, MetalFX now works through the neural engine. Apple is catching up to NVIDIA before AMD is doing. And AMD is not utilizing their AI acceleration for FSR. Apple is for MetalFX. Oh my god, he has like an original iPhone. Yeah, the DualSense. The DualSense is the most advanced gaming controller. Backgammon, my favorite app. Here's Baldur's Gate 3 with ray tracing. Oh right, the Division is coming to mobile. Oh. Not the biggest fan of Ubisoft. It seems like 3 nanometer might really be limited in like peak frequency right now. I expected like 50% higher numbers. Like my exact predictions were like 15% CPU improvement and 30% GPU improvement. Now with the ray tracing, it more than makes up for it on the GPU being... Oh my god, Apple! Apple is pushing gaming here through the iPhone. That's awesome. It needs to have 8 gigs of RAM, kind of. Oh my god, it sucks that it could have 128 gigs of base storage, right? Because you would want so much great space for those apps and games. Assassin's Creed Mirage is on the iPhone, my god. I think I will play that shit then on the iPad. Yeah. And the Pro Max has an even better camera. .5, 1, 2, 3. I guess they could give you like a 6x zoom on the telephoto or something like that. Yeah, it's larger. It's like 20% larger, the sensor, but it has a worse aperture, which is interesting. Nice, nice. That's what MaxTech was always asking for. I still might use Pro Raw though, if they like really kept up the quality. Okay. Okay, okay. 6% focus pixels versus 100. It's so funny to me. How much? Okay. 1.2 f2.8. Is it a periscope camera even? It has to be, or they wouldn't differentiate between those. I wish it was 4x. Tetra prism for periscope. Yeah, it is periscope. But it's not variable zoom. That's really good. That's important. Like periscope's stabilization was always a little trashy. Yeah. Oh man, it's a shame that we don't have anything optical at 4x. Yeah, but it's this. It's the same hardware. Yeah, which did not come to. Okay, I kind of thought that the hardware for the ultra wide would change, but no, it's just the software and the A17 behind it. Yeah, you still would use a pro camera in that regard. Yeah, nice, 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 nice. Nice, 4K 60 ProRes. I might enable ProRes now. Nice. Well, maybe I'll consider ProRes. What? That's crazy. That's crazy, cupcakes. Well, that goes for like the argument that you have to have Vision Pro for this, which means the dad could now use the iPhone to capture spatial video. Oh, it has Wi-Fi 6E and Thread. That's good. Oh, the 15 Pro. Oh my god, they did not increase the prices. They got rid of the 128 gigabytes on the Pro Max. That's insane. The Pro Max just got rid of the 128 version. It is the same price for the 256. Yes. Oh my, that's so fucking good! And on the 15 Pro I can actually forgive 128. On the Pro Max I wouldn't. Because I think people who want to play a lot of games would play it on... That's so freaking good! With titanium and everything, Samsung is fucked! Yo, oh my god! I would wish that the base storage was more, but Apple loves their margins on iCloud. The iPhone 13 from 599. So that no 13 mini. No, you should have just kept the 13 mini. No, we don't need both the 14 and the 14 Plus there still. It's so, the price of the Pros is so good. Wait, who the hell is then buying the regular 15 if the... Wait, it's just 200... Man, God, the Pros are so good this year. I'm sorry, my cat woke up. Bro, I'm so freaking ordering the new iPhone 15 Pro Max. They will like carrier subsidize this shit of the 15. Like the price of the 15 Pro Max is fantastic. I was almost 100%, like I did not expect, like, wow, Tim Cook really learned. Could it be that like next year we get like the 16 Pro for $1,000 with 256 gigabyte? Thinja, you were expecting a significant price increase. Well, guess what, bitch? Getting no price increase whatsoever. The 15 Pro Max comes with double the storage for $100 more, which is the same price of the previous 256 gigs. The same price. That was fantastic. Like, I assume the website is upgraded. Nope, not yet. Oh my god, this was so good. But I still haven't seen, like, is Apple Watch Ultra 2 really coming only in like regular titanium? Like, it wouldn't be an absolute deal breaker for me. Would be a bit of a bummer. But like, oh my god, that's so good. Update the website. No, not yet. I do want to see it in the German prices though, because I was so convinced that the prices would go up. Those are like, I functionally don't even see the difference anymore, right? Because on the Pro Max, I would never recommend anybody get 128 gigabyte on the Pro Max. It has the battery life, it has the large display, now it has the 5x telephoto, to be a device that genuinely asks for you to have more storage. This is crazy good. Please, Apple, update yourself. Nope. Maybe just here. Wonderlust. Yeah, they have not yet updated. It's interesting, like they kept the iPhone 14 Pro so long on like the main web page, and it even is like above Vision Pro. Guess because it's actually on sale, right? Oh yeah, and there's like the college promotion for in general. Like, come on, Apple Watch, come on. Apple Watch Ultra. That's not Ultra 2, nope. So we are keeping it on the Apple homepage, at least that one is black. And not going to destroy your guys' eyes. Well, guys, what do you think? I mean, I think we will have more people join us, right? Yep, as I said that, we had like 2 people come into the stream. But yeah, I will be reacting to this for quite a while. My god. Like, have they created like real articles yet? Apple discontinues 5.4-inch iPhone 13 mini, still sells 13 and 14, which I don't think that we need so much like non-size differentiated cheaper iPhones. I kind of would have just preferred for the 15 to be $50 cheaper. Yeah, so we don't have new stuff here. Please, Apple, come on. Alexander, I mean, ray tracing on ARM, Apple may push some serious development on Metal API. Well, Metal API has already supported ray tracing. It's just, it was software based. This is now hardware ray tracing. Also, GPUs are not really ARM or x86. It's just that we associate Apple GPUs with ARM because Apple's CPU is on ARM. But when you actually look at it, sure, a GPU might be more properly optimized for an ARM CPU here, but I think it's more of the SoC design actually that is more interesting here. ARM at Apple is already core for like efficiency, all the other shit they're pulling off, right? But when you actually think like 2 times faster neural engine, like 4 times faster ray tracing than the software-based version would be on last gen, right? That's so good, and it remains to be seen like what the cache hierarchy is, like if Apple added like more cache that is shared between the CPU and the GPU, because ray tracing can be pretty CPU intensive, and Apple could essentially like get rid of a lot of that overhead through having it all on one chip. So that's big, but also MetalFX upscaling seems now to have been updated to work on the neural engine. I don't know, like I have not seen that happen prior. By all intents and purposes, as I understood it, MetalFX upscaling for now has used just like an algorithm, vector-based algorithm similar to FSR on AMD chips. And now Apple does not have like frame doubling and stuff like that, but that tech is currently trash anyway. So this is basically Apple, like it's obviously not like DLSS 3.5 competitor ready. It's also just on iPhone for now, but it's really, really exciting. Alexander Gaspedian is like hardware transform lighting back in the day, the GeForce and Diamond Viper 2 introduced. Yeah, well, we've like, I mean, if you go back to like the introduction of raster in general, right? There was so much like crazy like alternative rendering that people were doing on like the PS1 and stuff like that, just to get any kind of decent like, well, it's not even always 3D, but especially once in the early 2D era. So like the early 2000s were crazy for like new GPU tech, and then like ray tracing was like the last crazy one. And I would say things like DLSS, MetalFX upscaling, FSR, they're by themselves not that impressive because they don't fundamentally make your image better. Unless you have terrible temporal anti-aliasing, but it's definitely nice that they help along with like the performance hit that usually comes along with like GPU with like running ray tracing. Oh my god, it's so good. Pre-order starts at 5 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Friday. Let me look at the Apple Watch. By the way, I'm getting the blue one, the blue iPhone. And here it's the Ultra 2. Really, it's not black. Could black be like, could we have to wait for like black? Wait, order now? Can I order now? Tray loop and ocean band. Oh my god, wait, I can order now? Oh, I might have to do it here on the Apple Store page. So let me look at the Apple Watch Ultra. I'm obviously not gonna be like... Wait, the Apple Watch is $100 cheaper in Europe. It was €1,000. It was €1,000. Now it's $899. Wait, did Apple update the European prices? Could the iPhone actually be cheaper? The iPhone with 1 terabyte was €2,100. Could it be Titan Black? Oh my god, 1 terabyte is €150 cheaper. Apple, you mad dogs. Yes, the euro prices are down. I like the titanium frame they introduced for the Pro and Pro Max. Very interesting. It's not a gimmick. Like Alexander, I completely disagree. Titanium looks gorgeous, and it is lighter, it is more durable, and the way Apple fuses it with aluminum. Oh my god, the prices are so good. Like, it's $150 cheaper. Yeah, I'm buying the 1TB iPhone. Can I order it right away? Like, no, I'm not buying it with Apple Care right away. But my god, the European prices are insanely good. So I am buying the Apple Watch. Just so anybody who knows. Oh my god, that means I'll be off 250 euro, paying off 250 euros less than I planned on. That's fantastic. That's an almost 10% reduction over what I expected to pay. Apple, listen to me. I have been harboring on that the euro has regained some ground over the dollar and should not be as highly priced. This is the best iPhone pricing that I could have imagined. Like, I think it really would have only been better if we were at like 1.4 euro versus the dollar. That is amazing. Jesus, it now actually, like, yes, it is still more expensive than just adding 19% on top of the US dollar price, but it's phenomenal. So, am I getting the Ultra, or am I getting like the Series 9 regular? It's the same price here. It's $449. It's $799 for stainless steel, which is gold, and it then gets more expensive for, nope, I'm buying the Ultra. Oh, but it's not, oh, why is it not black? Trail loop, or guys, anybody who watches my stream right now, like Alpine loop, color blue. Yeah, I'm probably getting that one, right? Indigo, olive, I like olive and indigo. Okay, and the trail loop comes in color green, gray, blue, and black. Yeah, I'm getting the Alpine loop. The Alpine loop in blue, and with the I think I need the large band. Though I do have like other bands anyway. Nope, I'm not trading anything in. I'm not buying Apple Care, at least not on day one. And then I am ordering it. Nope, I don't need any extra stuff. Yep, that's awesome. So, and I'm so glad I didn't buy anything last year. I'm actually spending less on better hardware. It's Apple Watch Ultra 2 seller. It's yeah, I want it to be like ordered, and yeah, it does have the correct address. Yep, that's correct. Continue with Apple Pay. Okay, I'm having to ship the. Yep, that's the correct one. I'm getting it next Friday then. Yes, this is 100% correct. And Face ID activated. I'm so buying the 1TB iPhone. Oh, that's so insanely good. Apple, you mad dog, you did it. Guys, I don't know how many people we have watching. I hope you guys tune in. It's been a 1.5 hour event. It's not been like 2 hours as I expected. Let me just briefly put on the actual light. So for anybody curious, I did just order the Apple Watch. Oh, we have now 10 people watching. That's amazing. Guys, please let me know in the chat who is here. I really want to communicate with you. And just wanted to let you know, this is the Apple Watch Ultra that I ordered. It's not black, but that's by no means a deal breaker. I have grown to like the Apple Watch Ultra design more over the last year. It's not my favorite design, but with the brightness level, I definitely think we're getting like black in the spring then. And my god, look at the iPhone. Guys, look at the European prices, right? And you'll have to take my word for it. For one, let me look at the 15 prices, right? What was the, I don't quite remember the starting price. I think that's 50 euro less than it was before. You have to understand that that includes like a 19% like value added tax, which in the US is like not included by default. But let's forget the iPhone 15. Look at the 15 Pro. Now you will still be shocked by the prices because versus the dollar, that sounds like a lot. But like, oh my god, that's so much better. Like that is cheaper than before. This is I think that's the same as before, right? But just with double the storage. And then I'm getting Titan Blue, which is amazing. And then I'm getting yes, 1949 is a lot, but that's $150 less. That's phenomenal. So I'll be ordering it right on Friday. That's, oh, you can even pay it for 24 months. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that just for fun, so I don't have to deal with like a huge like individual thing. Like on the Apple Watch, it's sub $1,000 and euros, so it's actually really nice. But I'm seeing like my stream still works nice. I've been kind of worried about that, how the internet actually pans out here. And we have 10 people watching. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So guys, what do you think? I think the pricing is kind of saving this event, right? Like, it's not that I thought it was bad, but I definitely thought if Apple was going too crazy with pricing, they would have a hard time justifying that. Like, that's the German website. I did order it, right? But can we do like an Apple Watch compare? Right? Versus, I want to compare Apple Watch Ultra versus Ultra 2, right? How do I do that? Oh, it just allows see all models, right? How do I do that? Oh, I have to go back. They made it a little less intuitive. But like the Apple Watch Ultra 2 now has 3000 nits versus 2000, right? It has the S9 system in the package. W3 wireless chip. That's new. No, W3 was already on last gen. I always forget how Apple names like their W chips. LTE and UMTS, that was the last year specification with Wi-Fi 4. It still is Wi-Fi 4 and Bluetooth 5.3. And it's 64 gig capacity, while the previous generation was 32. That's nice, that's nice. Yeah, but I assume there still are not like 5G modems of that. But guys, I don't give a fuck about any of that. It's $100 cheaper than last year's model was here in Europe, and it's now, I think European sales have been lower than Apple expected last year. And while that was fine for like a brand new design like the 14 Pro, because there were still like enough people and the margin was high, I think they really were afraid of what that could mean here. But that's really, really good. So yeah, I bought the Ultra because I do like the design of the stainless steel more, but the battery life difference is kind of huge, and I do love how rugged this is, and I don't like the color of the gray stainless steel. If they had made it space black and made it cheaper, significantly cheaper than the Ultra, I might have gone for the stainless steel one. But yeah, here it's pretty much a no-brainer. And then Apple Watch SE, it still does like a decent job. I don't think there's anything to complain about given the pricing. Right, but I think iPhone compare. Yeah. 15 Pro Max versus the 14 Pro Max versus my phone, the 13 Pro Max. For one, look at that blue titanium. Oh my god. Look in comparison to that trash deep purple. Who needs gold? Is silver? White titanium. Why is this look way less white and more like eggshell, doesn't it? Like, I know I'm a little colorblind, but I'm not that colorblind. There's a noticeable difference here. Okay, I'll just take the Sierra Blue, which I did buy, and I would have purchased Space. Oh my god, Space Black here looks way darker. That's cool. But yeah, I'm buying the blue iPhone. Yep, I'm going from the light blue, Sierra Blue, to blue titanium. That is so awesome. So yeah, 0.5x, 1x, 2x, and 5x. 29 hours of video playback, so it's the same one. It's USB-C and it's 20 times faster. We have 13 people watching. Thank you guys so much. Giving you a big shout out, a big heart. It's been a long stream. We've had technical issues in the beginning, but we are making it. Please let me know in the comments what you would like. Silicon Magic, you're also joining us. Nice event, love the Mother Nature skit. Yeah, it kind of started out cringe because I didn't understand its purpose, but given the actual environmental changes that Apple is enacting, like the pro environmental changes across like materials and how they're like subsidizing green energy to the extent of energy production that people will have while using an Apple Watch, that's really great. And carbon neutral is not as difficult to achieve as some people might make it out to be, but achieving it for a truly mass market product that you still produce with a high margin, something like by relying with like on not the most expensive labor in China and stuff like that, making that carbon neutral can actually be really challenging, because you still like have all the shipping involved, and China has not been known to use like the cleanest energy there. So this is a huge positive change. And Silicon Magic, you like asked me last time how like the China thing could impact pricing. Well, guess what? The Apple Watch Ultra is 10% less expensive here in Germany than it was last generation. And that is a newer, better Apple Watch Ultra, so that's fantastic. And the iPhone that I'm buying, the 1TB Pro Max, is now 150 euros cheaper. And I love that, by the way, that Apple is like trashing Lightning now on the 14 Pro Max and 13 Pro Max, calling it USB 2. By clearly like now upselling you on the 15 Pro Max. I kind of hope that Apple will not be producing a lot of like new 14s and 13s, and that they will just like naturally almost sell out of them, and then like really try to sell people on the 15 and 15 Pro Max. Because also with all the environmental changes they're enacting, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Capacity here, it starts at 256. By the way, this is what I've also been always saying at Apple, like get rid of storage options for logistics. You already have like 4, sometimes 5 or 6 colors. Producing each model in each storage configuration is like an extreme logistical challenge. Oh my god, 256. By the way, I'm guaranteeing you that any kind of like 128 gigabyte relatively premium phone that any other manufacturer might have planned is now getting scrapped. I know the regular 15 Pro starts at still 128, but this is like the fact that the base storage here is 256 And while it is technically a price increase for like the base config is also now better. And I have never recommended anyone get a Pro Max with 128. Maybe like the 12 Pro was like the last time. The 12 Pro Max, but on the 13 Pro Max I have 256. I'm getting 1 terabyte here. This is what Apple gets if they price it right. Guess what? That's awesome. It's still 2000 nits peak brightness outdoors. By the way, HDR brightness, like some Samsung phones will like advertise like 2000 or even 2200 nits of HDR brightness. Apple does not apparently like higher than 1600 nits HDR brightness, because I think this is how they tune like all their like white levels for and stuff like that for HDR. And I just think they don't like going to like 3000 nits HDR for no reason. Silicon Magic cannot find any pricing for the new iCloud Plus plans now. Well, Silicon Magic, you have also like written me asking what I recommend for like a home server for stuff. Well, personally, if it gets constantly disconnected, right, then I cannot recommend anything, because there are solutions that I'm sure you know about, which do integrate with like the Files app. But if it doesn't stay connected, obviously I am not an expert in fixing that stuff. Now though, could I interest you in like 6 or 12 terabytes of iCloud storage? I wonder what the pricing on those will be like. Maybe we'll find something here. It's the live blog. macOS Sonoma to launch on September 26th. Oh, I expected macOS Sonoma to launch in October, so that's nice. The pricing, iOS 17 launches next Monday. Apple and okay, so there isn't that much more new stuff here. Okay, size and weight. Wait, where's the actual size and weight? Oh, I scrolled through it. Okay, so the height has gone consistently down, right? It's 160.8 versus 160.7, which is basically the same. And then here, 159.9, so that's nice. Width. This is really important for actual like comfortability, and while it's not a big decrease, it's now actually in the area where I would say it starts getting really comfortable. Also, those measurements is pretty much exactly what I would say what I've covered in my last video. So the leaks were true in that regard. So they are thicker, 8.25 versus 7.85 versus 7.65, but the weight reduction, that just makes up for all the kind of, any extra thickness. This is so good. The IP68 rating is about the same, 6 meters for 30 minutes. And the chip, they do not make like chip comparisons, but I think we would need to go like to Apple's website here. So we do have a major improvement for me in like the main camera, 48 versus 12. Now the aperture has gotten, if you want to call it worse, that's not necessarily what it means, but it is. And then like here, telephoto 2.8. Wait, do we have like front camera seems to be the same as on the 14 Pro Max, though I kind of assume it gets like newer smart HDR. The Smart HDR 5, right? This is what a lot of people don't understand. Smart HDR 4 on the 14 Pro was the same as Smart HDR 4 on the 13 Pro. Like the 15 and the A15 and A16 were not that substantially different. In terms of the image signal processor, the A17 is, and this is why it has a new photo algorithm. Apple is not lying to you. If they wanted to, they could just call it Smart HDR 5 and then this Smart HDR 6, right? Similar to how they like rebranded the Apple Watch chip for years while it still was like the same chip. But yeah, here definitely seems like HDR will see a major improvement, and that's really big. That's really big considering like what, like that HDR was really like the only like negative on like iPhone photography, and it seems to be like definitely improved. Also next gen portraits, I never considered there were problems with the 14 portraits, especially not on the main camera, but who knows what that means for like the well, oh yeah, I forgot. I was still on the front camera, right? So next gen portraits with focus and depth control, right? That could still mean like that the front camera is also way better at this. I mean, I'm saying could because I'm not always taking Apple's words at face value, but I highly doubt that they would need to like lie about the front camera here. Second gen sensor shift optical image stabilization, so it's not newer optical image stabilization than on the 14 Pro Max, but it's still an improvement over what I have on the 13 Pro Max. Adaptive True Tone Flash, right? That's also different from what I have, which Apple calls True Tone Flash with slow sync. Photonic Engine refers to like the light sensors on the back, so that's similar to on the 14 Pro. Smart HDR5, next gen portraits, yeah, really nice. And of course you do now get 4K at 60 ProRes, and they don't have any kind of like disclaimers, because apparently you can also capture 4K 60 on 256 gigabyte models, right? You could not capture 4K 30 on 128 gig models, but this is double, right? So maybe there was a thought that maybe you would need now 512 gigabytes or something. That does not appear to be the case. Also like great like color accuracy and stuff like that. Slow-mo is the same, which seems like Apple is kind of neglecting to give us any kind of slow-mo update. And we now have wait, where does that advertise it, right? Like action mode, cinematic. Wait, where's spatial video? Like Apple just showed spatial video. It needs to have it. Audio, zoom, time-lapse, slow-mo. I think I might have like lost it somewhere, right? HDR video recording with Dolby Vision up to 4K 60, which I mean was cinematic mode. Wait, where is spatial? It's Command F, right? Spatial audio playback, spatial audio playback. Oh, Apple does not have spatial recording. That's interesting. Oh, concrete like battery lifetimes, right? Up to 50% charge in 35 minutes with 20-watt adapter or higher. Oh, so now they changed the 50% charge to 35 minutes instead of instead of 30. Yeah, but the battery life seems to be about the same. Video playback is like 1 hour better than on the 13 Pro Max. Just briefly check if all my streams are going okay, or my one stream to be more precise. So guys, let me know, what are you most interested in? What are you planning on buying? I kind of said that I wanted to like react to this for a long time. But honestly, with how good of an update this is, it's kind of hard to even like think what you really would like highly criticize. I think I'm so enamored with like the pricing, especially in Europe, that kind of don't have anything to complain about. I was perfectly ready to like cough up 2,200 euros for 1 terabyte 15 Pro Max, and it's now 1949. Sure, that's not cheap, but that's way better than what I expected. So let's see how Apple advertises it, right? They're talking about titanium. Actually, I'm more interested in the Series 9 than in the iPhone. Well, that's perfectly reasonable. I'm buying both. I'm buying the Ultra 2 and the iPhone. So Silicon Magic, you don't have to worry. I'm not judging for you to prefer anything here. Quite honestly, if somebody was to look at this event and say, oh, it's a good event, but I'm not interested in anything because I think all of my current products are that good, I would be perfectly okay with that. So I think the way Apple like puts on pricing here, I think they're kind of proud about it. So game-changing chip, groundbreaking performance. Titanium, so light, so strong, so pro. Maybe you'll upgrade the phone next spring when my carrier plan ends. Yeah, maybe you will also get like new colors by then or something, which would be interesting. The new action button. Alexander, sorry to poop in the soup, but I'm waiting for the Galaxy S24. We have covered a lot of Galaxy S24 specs in my last few videos. Yeah, dude, that ain't winning against the 15 Pro. Not with those specs that Apple has shown. Not with that pricing. Like, I know that technically with like the S Pen and stuff like that, if you're like an Android fan, that's perfectly reasonable. But I actually expect the 15 Pro and Pro Max to attract more switchers than the 14th gen was. I assume it would be kind of like, it would be bigger, but probably percentually similar to what the 12 Pro and the 13 Pro did, right? The 12 Pro was the new design that people wanted. The 13 Pro had ProMotion. I think that was kind of like a nice like culmination, plus the 12 Pro brought 5G. Yeah, it's not like I'm judging you for getting the S24, but we've covered some S24 rumors, and like a stacked battery, for example, sounds nice, and on the Ultra there might be a variable zoom lens on the back, which would be really cool. But it's not gonna win against this, sorry. Yeah, iPhone is not your thing. Again, I'm not judging you for it, and I'm really glad that you're joining us here despite your Android preference. I'm just saying that in prior years, I kind of would have expected the Galaxy S20s Ultra, right, whatever generation it is, to be always in some substantial parts better than the iPhone, right? This hasn't happened actually that much in recent years because Samsung did not like update their LTPO panel to the latest LTPO which they sold to the iPhone. I think the main camera was good, but especially it like really struggled when it originally switched to 200 megapixels. So yeah, I kind of have fallen a little bit out of love with the S20 Ultra, whatever gen, but there are rumors that like the Ultra could be getting titanium, which definitely like it's a different proposition than with the iPhone, right? Because Apple users want premiumness. I don't know, like if Samsung will need to have like $100 price increase, that could really backfire. No, nobody needs to show themselves out. We're all friends here. It's blue titanium. Oh, it's so good. Look at this color. Samsung ain't matching that. I'm sorry. I don't care that this looks gray under certain lighting conditions. This looks awesome. So iPhone forged in titanium. It has like talking vibes the way they're talking about it. It's an aerospace grade titanium design. It goes like on the Pro Max, it drops from 240 grams to 222 grams. So that's the titanium here. It does have though 30% smaller bezels. My god, this is how 1.5 millimeters looks. Can you imagine if the rumors about the Galaxy S24 Ultra having 3 millimeters thick bezels being true? Can you imagine how thick that will be? Oh, I love the fine brush thing here. Silicon, yeah, we're all friends. That's why it's called friendly fire. Yeah, I'm all fine with friendly fire as long as it stays actually friendly. Alexander, I think that Samsung is going to be as good or almost as good. Yeah, like, well, it better be, right? It comes out 6 months later for the same price. It better be. Fianchai, competition is good, but I'll stick with Android. Finger crossed that the non-existing upcoming high-end mini tablet with 5G runs Android. Yeah. And by the way, we have like people being like really open here. Like Alexander, you have said that you tried iPhones, and Silicon, you originally came from Android, as far as I understand. And Thianchai, from what I understand, is like for you, it's mostly about like your preference for like basically like 8-inch mini tablets that keeps you on Android, and of course some pricing considerations. But it's not like anybody here, I doubt you would be really here with me, but it's not like anybody here like downright hates the competition. I've covered a lot of competitors for Apple, and I will keep on covering like the Google Pixel 8 and stuff like that. It's just that without even a price increase here, I'm kind of inclined to believe that Apple will have a really successful year with the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. Yeah, so this is basically just the features that we kind of are like familiar with from the 14 Pro. Go deeper on the A17 Pro, a new Pro class GPU. So the iPhone 15 Pro uses hardware accelerated ray tracing for the first time. That's up to 4 times faster than software-based ray tracing, delivering more fluid graphics and true-to-life lighting. It's the fastest ray tracing performance in a smartphone. Metal Effects upscaling combines performance of GPU and neural engine, which, as I've covered before, that's a big deal, to produce high-resolution graphics while using much less power. That's actually a good thing to advertise on. The DLSS does that too, right? It reduces power usage because it runs on a base like low resolution, and then whatever you add on it with like the CUDA, not the CUDA cores, what are the Tensor AI cores, right? They're not like power hungry enough to like bring you back up to full power consumption as before. So Apple advertising this as a way to reduce power is actually really smart. It's a 20% faster GPU, 10% faster CPU. As I've said before, I expected a little more, right? I personally expected this to be like 15% faster and this to be 30% faster. You have to understand that 3 nanometer is really, really early, and now I really understand why N3E is like really advertised. Like now I understand why nobody but Apple is crazy enough to use N3B. This is an efficiency and density favoring like architecture upgrade or like process node upgrade. Like N3E might be technically less dense, but it will have a larger performance uplift, which is definitely going to be welcome. So this is really, really cool that Apple even went for N3B, because this makes the chip a lot more expensive. Resident Evil 4 remake on iPhone was my absolute favorite. You wonder how good it would run on M3. It's kind of what makes me wonder though. Like the iPhone uses the same memory speed as the 14 Pro. Could it be that maybe some of the performance uplift is like slightly held back, and maybe M3 would get like LPDDR5X, which is like a third faster than LPDDR5. So could the performance uplift on an M3 Max being larger than it is on the A17 iPhone? Could it be like 30 or even 35% faster, where the iPhone is only quote-unquote 20%? Alexander, Samsung have always been a lot more bezel-less than Apple. I'm sure the S23 Ultra bezels are thinner than iPhone 15. No, they're not. The S23 Ultra has a curved display, which looks like trash. I hate curved screens. I've had one, so it's not a blind hate. But Like, I'll bring it up. S24 Ultra bezels. This is the latest rumors. It has not yet been like disproven, except for like my internet, which is disproving anything I'm saying by being dirt trash. Oh, Jesus Christ. Agree and proceed. Here, like this is what's rumored for the S24 Ultra. Also, the S24 Ultra is definitely going flat. So even if they go like less bezels than this, it's still likely not matching the 1.5 millimeters on the 15 Pro. Not that it would really even matter, right? Like the iPhone uses a very special technology. It's the same technology that is on the Apple Watch that allows it to have those slim bezels. Like slim bezels don't fall from the sky. You cannot make bezels just smaller and smaller without any impact on like basically how the screen integrates into the rest of the device and stuff. So yeah, I know that Samsung has had like a few years where they've had like smaller bezels than the iPhone because Apple has not prioritized bezels. I still don't care, right? It's just, to me, it's always funny how people who really cared when Samsung had like the advantage. I will be the first to note, I don't care. Apple could keep like the same bezel size as on the 13 Pro Max and I would still be in favor of it. I would want them to be a little smaller, maybe because the edge of the titanium seems to be like a tad thicker than what you got from like the really like sharp cut steel, right? Which is part of the bezel still. It's not the display bezel, it's just part of the device bezel. But overall, like, to me, everything that is like below 3 millimeter, below 2.5 millimeter is fine. It's just that Samsung fans, because they wanted to have advantages over iPhone that were purely aesthetic, were like really jerking off how slim the bezels were, especially on like curved screens. Well, now you ain't getting that. Well, Alexander, I'm not making this shit up. Like, this actually comes from who said that? It's from Ice Universe, who's been like a really reliable reliable source. I know you might not like it, but it seems like that's what might be happening. Again, it's not up to me. I'm not trying to like attack you. It's just what is the most up-to-date thing here. I do prefer a flat screen, but come on, Apple's design has been a lot thicker than Android. Well, yeah, that's designed for you. As I've said before, Apple could have gone with slimmer bezels for years. It's just that they had like they don't really care about it that much. The reason why they made bezels smaller, well, for one, they did use a new technology to actually achieve that. But the other point is, once we actually get to the point of diminishing returns, Apple has to find some stuff that is visually noticeably different, right? This is why Apple is trying to advertise something that I doubt they personally care that much about. Have you seen how little time they've spent during the event actually talking about bezel sizes? Right? They said like, oh, it's smaller, next slide. Right? They didn't spend that much time on it. They primarily properly advertised it to differentiate the 15 with the 15 Pro. I guarantee you that no iPhone user is like going to consider an Android device for like 0.4 millimeter thicker or thinner bezels. Silicon Magic, I don't care for bezels, really never understood the whole talk about it. Neither do I. That's the entire point. And yes, Alexander, I do understand that it looks a little weird. It might be that Samsung is also trying to like go with like a somewhat like larger device in general. Maybe for like thermal reasons, maybe for like antenna reasons, and obviously they cannot just arbitrarily make the screen a lot larger, though then that asks the question, wouldn't it make more sense to make the device thicker? But again, we're not here to talk about the S24, it's iPhone day, baby. So 4 times faster ray tracing than A16, which kind of suggests that the A16 was like pretty decent at ray tracing, because usually you get like 10x improvements, but it probably depends on how exactly you test that, because maybe with like ray traced reflections this offers you like 4 times higher frame rates, but maybe if you were to like open something that is completely path traced, maybe then it's like 8 times faster than A16. And maybe there are like questions also about like bandwidth. Maybe it could be like 8 times faster, but it would need like even more bandwidth. Silicon Magic, I struggle more about Dynamic Island on the A15. While cool on first note, it goes further into the screen than the notch. Yeah, it impacts like 18:9 YouTube videos. It does not impact really anything else. And it is basically not a problem on the Pro Max. But for you, Silicon Magic, might I interest you in the 16 Pro Max larger screen? Right? So again, I'm not obviously wanting to talk about the iPhone 16 either, but the iPhone 16 could be a really interesting update, like with stacked batteries, potentially like really like large camera upgrades for the non-main camera, right? Well, the main camera would also get larger, but you would potentially also get like much larger sensors on. Wait, iPhone 15 Pro, is that official? Or is that still rumors? No, that's like trend force. Well, given that the storage rumors kind of pointed out to be true, at least on the 15 Pro, not the Max, kind of makes me think if like the RAM is actually 8 gigabytes. And if the RAM scales with the storage configs, I'm definitely getting the highest config anyway. So Silicon Magic, this is what I wanted to tell you. The 16 will be like 0.15 or 0.2 inches larger. If you go by the exact measurements, and by it being slightly taller, that would mean that the Dynamic Island is less into the screen than it is on the Pro and Pro Max currently, right? So that would be the way it, like, I assume like an 18:9 video would probably stop right about here, right? And then 16:9 is like way smaller, and then 4:3 is this. So yeah, because apparently this screen is only getting taller, not wider, and with that we're getting like exciting new stuff like stacked batteries and larger main sensors, a lot of interesting shit. Do you think, Alexander, do you think we're going to see quality games on the new iPads and iPhones that could possibly put Apple on AAA gaming scene in a few years? Yes, I do. I don't think it will be like console level success, right? But you have to imagine what like the Nintendo Switch is, right? I mean, sure, Nintendo exists on a very different playing field, but there's very little third-party support for it. In terms of AAA games, there's a ton of smaller games, and that one will stay that way until like Switch 2 comes out. Apple has a lot of the technologies that people are looking forward to give you very, very high performance capabilities in a small package. I'm not sure if the iPhone, like the iPhone is a huge market, don't get me wrong, and people in like China and Japan probably, and South Korea probably will be like decently hardcore phone gamers, though they do play gacha, which is another discussion. But I do believe that this will put Apple significantly more on the map, and I do believe that it will take the M3 to get us there. Like how do I imagine it happening, right? The A17 is on the iPhone Ultra this year. It will come to the non-Ultra next year. So that's already a big market where you have like ray tracing, more RAM, all that jazz, right? And then you get like in spring next year, you get an M3 based Mac. And then maybe at WWDC, you get an M3 based iPad Pro. And then in the fall, you get like the full rest of the lineup with like M3 based Mac Studios, Max Ultra, maybe even earlier, right? And by that point, I would also imagine that like Apple's version of the game porting toolkit will be like really, really mature. I assume that they will probably upgrade like Metal. Maybe they will call it Metal 4, but potentially it will just be like Metal 3 hyper optimized for those things. You have to understand that like a lot of like new shading tech is already in Metal 3. It's just that A17 is the first chip natively built in mind with things like mesh shading. So there's a lot here that is, and I will not go into detail on like what mesh shading means. I'm not an expert. I know it's like more efficient than current shading techniques in terms of utilization, which actually like makes me curious. Could it be that A17 is more than 20% faster than A16 once you also account for things like mesh shading? And then my question is, well, how much faster will it be once you account for like its DLSS like MetalFX AI upscaling, and on top of that the capabilities with ray tracing? Do you think Intel and AMD need to start thinking about ARM? No, I don't. And the problem with ARM is Windows itself. Neither Intel nor AMD would help themselves by like focusing on a technology that would have extreme compatibility problems in the main operating system where people game on. You have to understand, like, those companies still are free to like use N4P and N3E throughout next year, and then 2025, 2026. Like, and I think they will provide in general better value than what you have on Apple devices. Even though Apple clearly is not standing still, right? They did not increase the price of the iPhone 15 Pro. They did reduce the price in markets where the currency has gone up, like it has, like in Euro, which is fantastic. But Apple will not be matching the value of something like the RX 7800 XT, which is a $500 graphics card with 16 gigs of RAM, a ton of good capabilities, and it's a graphics card, right? So it also has like all the cooling that it needs to, the PCIe connector. Like for Apple, $500 upgrades are like 32 gigs of RAM or something, or like from going from 16 to 32. So Apple is not value oriented, but there is a premium market. Like I count myself to it, right? I bought like a $3,600 MacBook Pro that with a student discount was like $3,300. It was almost $3,700 and then it was $3,300. I would love to game on my Mac as I would want to game on a Windows device, and I think in the next 2 years, as the latest version of Metal, with all the new stuff, right, like AI-based upscaling, ray tracing, the larger install base of Macs will also come into play, right? And if Apple really plays their cards right and prices the M3 generation really well, they really will attract more gamers than ever. Alexander, Apple showed the world that ARM is viable for CPUs. Now they're doing the same about gaming. Windows is a mess anyway, so instead of thinking why, I'm thinking why not. Well, yeah, I think this is how the Mac market share grows. I just don't think that that's how companies think that have invested decades into the intellectual property behind x86, right? And Intel is like doing big changes with x86, like Arrow Lake, and like later on Beast Lake will be huge architectural difference. They're even giving up on hyperthreading, right? Hyperthreading, which was like the main like multitasking advantage of x86 versus the smaller instructions of ARM, which doesn't really suit well to like split a core into two, which is what both Intel and AMD are currently doing. But Intel will be getting rid of hyperthreading because they understand that utilizing one core to the max is better than trying to split it into two and then not knowing where to redirect the power. It works well if you have like if you have like 4 cores and you want 8 threads. But once you have 8 cores, you might be much better off just having 8 fantastic threads and then having a ton of little cores that give you a lot of smaller threads that you could then give to like background tasks or to like really big tasks like CPU rendering. Oh my god, my voice is giving up. So let us further get what Apple is advertising here. A17 Pro GPU is up to 17% faster than the GPU in iPhone 12 Pro. So Apple knows, by the way, their audience, right? This is a 3-year upgrade cycle, and Apple is telling you, you get 70% more here. So they don't talk that much about efficiency here. Oh, they do have a switch from Android to iPhone portion for Alexander. A camera that captures your widest imagination. Zoom in on the cameras. That's a funny way to put it. I like that. Briefly checking if all my streams are working correctly. Guys, you cannot imagine like the cable mess that I'm working with here. It's like I actually am utilizing all 3 ports on like my Mac, like all 3 USB-C ports. I have like my microphone connected, my iPhone I usually connect with a cable for capture, because I do trust Bluetooth for the speed, but it will eat battery life like crazy, so this keeps on charging. And then I'm also charging my iPad, and then I do have MagSafe charging obviously through the wall charger. So the only things I'm not using are like the SD card slot and HDMI. Oh, and the 3.5mm jack. Silicon Magic, well, Intel's latest developments aim to even more threads per core actually. Nope. That was the rumor for Golden Cove, I believe. That is dead. By all accounts, this is dead. Like Moore's Law is dead, and like other similar leakers have actually confirmed that. People were rumoring about like 4-way hyper-threading for a while. By all accounts, oh yeah, photonics chip. Yeah, photonics chip are not coming out anytime soon. Silicon Magic. I'm talking about like the next 5 years. Like photonics are cool, but they are in the lab. They don't exist in mass production, and they won't anytime soon. Like you have to like understand, like Intel is building like their own silicon factories, and they are utilizing stuff from TSMC in parallel. They are not interested in giving all of the orders up that they have, in giving up all the investments that they have into like their own silicon foundries. Photonics chips will not come out in the next decade. Alexander, yeah, even though iPhone 14 and S23 were trading blows in the camera department, it's going to be the same with the new Samsung and Google phones. Mark my word. That's funny. Well, yeah, I mean, sure, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 will have like, I assume like a better image signal processor, and Samsung will have like technically a new sensor, but it's not actually a larger sensor. I don't know. To me, the iPhone 14 Pro was still usually the clear winner, except for limited HDR scenarios over the S24 Ultra. And by the way, when I say that, I usually mean like not in like darkness, but like in dimly lit scenarios. Like I think when you actually look at like, oh, you're in gorgeous Greece or Italy and the sun is shining at full force, I guarantee you could even get like by with like a base iPhone 12 and still get great photos and videos. Where I do measure like smartphone capability, smartphone camera capability, usually comes down to like lower light scenarios, not necessarily night mode, though obviously night mode seems to be improved here as well. And I also would say the iPhone 14 Pro definitely won in most night mode scenarios versus the S23 Ultra. Which is, in my opinion, impressive given the 6 month. Like I think there are some scenarios where the S24 Ultra will win because by default it will target a longer exposure. But if you normalize for the same exposure length, right, 3 seconds versus 3 seconds, 5 seconds versus 5 seconds, then the iPhone usually wins. Yeah, Silicon Magic, I understand that they're aiming for it, but you have to understand that a lot of stuff that we get to see sometimes when it comes to companies showing off, it looks like the future, but it does not necessarily mean that it will be specifically the future, right? We do have stuff like quantum computing, which is still getting figured out. And then we have photonics, then we have the switch from silicon to like germanium, for example. So there's a lot that could happen. It's just it won't all happen at the same time, right? So they cannot all coexist. Could we get like a quantum computing germanium based chip that is technically more photonics than semiconductors? Well, then it doesn't really need germanium, but at least it's better technically if you have to use silicon still somewhere. So yeah, I cannot guarantee you. It's just that for the next couple of years, it looks to me more like we are gonna see x86 get more similar to ARM without turning into ARM. Does that make sense? Alexander, maybe, but most reviews on YouTube put them on the same level. Yeah, I'm not saying that one is massively better. I'm just saying one is better. Alexander, don't be defensive here. It's my own preference. It also comes down to like the 3x telephoto is not very good on the Samsung. It's pretty good on the iPhone in comparison, and I don't need 10x optical zoom. I've also been pretty vocal. I'm not a huge fan of 5x optical on this iPhone. Like, the reason why I'm still pretty much neutral about it is because I'm myself moving from a 12 megapixel to a 48 megapixel main camera with a 2x zoom that is pretty lossless, while on my 13 Pro Max, for any kind of zoom, I would either lose quality from the main camera or switch to the much worse telephoto. So again, it's all preference. Please don't hang yourself up on any individual comment here. It's my own preference. I still don't like the Samsung color science. That's the point. Also, don't forget that I am somebody who usually uses Pro RAW. So I do look at comparison where they compare like Pro RAW versus Samsung's Expert RAW. And I have never seen Expert RAW win versus Pro RAW. They've like advertised Expert RAW having higher bitrate, but that's not actually making the image look raw. Like, Expert RAW still looks processed as shit, while Pro RAW, while it is designed to still like look more lifelike than your average raw image, it looks way better than Expert RAW. Silicon Magic, of course, no one knows what comes to market. Yeah, we are speculating. I'm not like attacking you, obviously, but when I'm saying I don't think photonics are coming out in the near future, I'm just saying that they also have to compete with other futuristic tech. And Alexander, you're not defensive, but it's naive to think one is going to dominate the other that much. When did I say it will going to dominate that much? I'm just saying that usually I would expect actually Samsung to beat Apple in several ways, because they come out 6 months later at the same price, and the one value add-on that they have usually is more storage, and in the last few generations the S Pen, which was previously Note exclusive. So again, I'm not saying it will dominate that much. What I am saying is that it will be impressive by how well the iPhone performs, even though it's 6 months older and costs the same, and will not even have a storage deficit in comparison to the S24 Ultra, which will also start at 256 gigs of storage. That's all I'm saying, by the way. I personally I know this sounds like anti-Android, but I've actually been a little disappointed with some of the stuff that Samsung has been pulling in general. It's specifically like Xiaomi is using like really dope full 1-inch sensors that in really like a lot of good light scenarios will deliver far more impressive images than I'm sure even the 15 Pro will. I think the 15 Pro will be a more versatile camera. I think it will still be better in low light thanks to the better ISP and stuff like that. But I cannot fathom why Samsung is okay with putting in a sensor in the S23 and S24 Ultra than in iPhones, right? You have to understand, like, tech specs matter more in the Android world because you have more direct competition. On the iPhone side, I'm not saying Apple is excused from offering poor value. They don't, right? They clearly were afraid to increase prices the way people thought they might. While on Samsung, I would expect for them to be by now on a full like 1 inch or at least like 1.1 inch sensor, right? But they don't, because they want to use their own cheaper GN sensors, I believe they're called, right? Or like the letters are mixed up in my head at some point, instead of significantly better sensors from Sony, right? And Apple will be using a better sensor from Sony next year, while Samsung will be on pretty much the same sensor as they are right now, which you have to understand. The iPhone 16 Pro will absolutely destroy the S24 Ultra. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, those 6-month gaps, I expect the next phone to get better. It's just that to me, the fact that the S24 Ultra is pretty much guaranteed to not be that much better than the iPhone is already a little sad, given that Samsung was known to give you significantly better value. If Samsung like brings down the price of the S24 Ultra, they could still achieve a lot in the market, in my opinion. But then the iPhone 16 Pro is coming out like 6 to 7 months after the S24 Ultra. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that even you as an Android user actually deserve better. And I don't mean like even you know what I mean, right? Like, Samsung was pushing more hardware boundaries 5 years prior. And Samsung will actually do that next year in one regard versus the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, which is that the S24 and S24 Plus will be on LTPO, while iPhones are not getting LTPO on the non-Pro and the Plus until 2025. You know what I'm saying? I fully will admit to that Samsung will offer you better value there. And I do like a lot about what Samsung is doing. I'm just saying it hasn't been as impressive in the last few years as I kind of got used to in like the Galaxy S8 generation, for example. Like the S8 generation, sure, it was like beaten by the iPhone 10 that came out months later, but don't forget that the S8 for one did not have like a notch and stuff like that, but also the DS8 was way cheaper than the iPhone 10. So, and that is kind of what I'm missing here. Yeah. Well, Alexander, I don't know, have you been in my last stream where we have talked about that, right? Like Exynos 2400. Have you seen that the S24 will apparently be regaining Exynos? Sheila Helaji, what about iPhone 14 Pro Max 2TB rumors? They were false. News and waterproof technology same as previous version. Anything changed? No, waterproof technology is still the same. It's rated for 6 meters at up to 30 minutes. But you should consider that in general you will not need more waterproofing than what the iPhone already delivers, right? Because we've had like stories of iPhones surviving like a month underwater. Oh, I actually put on the German article. Sorry for that. But it's Exynos will come out with the will be in the S24. Apparently, it's better than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but I'm always skeptical about that. Alexander, no, you haven't seen my last stream. I don't think it was in my last stream. I meant like the last stream where I talked about Samsung, which was about like Exynos. Yeah, Exynos sucks. I agree. I hope they really get it into better shape before launching. One reason to turn away from Samsung was their consistent use of the stupid Exynos here in Europe. Yeah, so you see, Alexander, I did not actually plan on, but I kind of did sour you at least a little on the Galaxy S24. Maybe you can do some research research on your own, because I am genuinely getting tired. So I will try to like get through like iPhone news. So it is the same sensor from all accounts, right? But Apple is like, I think this has kind of been lost by, like, this has not been covered by rumors, that the way that the image signal processor works, it's now aggregates the 48 megapixel sensor not down to 12 megapixels but to 24. So this is really, I almost wonder if they use like something similar to what they use for Metal FX upscaling, and like take like the 12 megapixel thing and then use like some AI to upscale it, given that they have like a ground truth 48 megapixel image to work from. AI is really good if it actually has the data. Yeah, so that's, I think this has been missed by rumors, and I wonder what that will actually mean for like a lot of sharpness and stuff like that. Alexander, yeah, you were saying that yeah, it was rumored that the last Exynos was going to be on par with like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It wasn't, so yeah, that's kind of sad. And they do now have the high fidelity image format, or what does the E stand for in HEIF, right? They called it like HIF during the presentation or something, which I found funny. So yeah, you can now have 48 megapixels that are not Pro RAW. So basically like high quality JPEGs. Or is it like, right? I mean, it's HEIF is not a JPEG, but it converts easily to a JPEG is what I wanted to say. I'm also getting like really tired at this point. So what's your main millimeter? Now you can choose your default main camera lens, 24, 28 or 35 millimeter. That's cool, that's cool. Next gen portrait. So what does it mean? The photonic, because that's something that I kind of didn't get all the details in during the presentation, because I was also doing some light commentary. The photonic engine supercharges your portraits, giving you beautiful detail, true to life colors, zero shutter lag. So it will apparently be much quicker to capture portraits, and up to 2 times better low light performance, which is very, very much needed. Now portraits can be live photos too. I don't use live photos, but thank you. In portrait mode, you can use continuous zoom to move in nice and close. Okay, and you can even shift the focus between subjects after you take the shot. Yeah, that was the thing that was most interesting here, right? You can do her in portrait, or like change the zoom here. So that's really, really interesting. Apple did not give like concrete numbers on like how much better like low light sensitivity is. But like it's not just portrait that benefit from the photonic engine. Night mode now lets you see your subjects more clearly in darker scenes with increased dynamic range. So it seems like smart HDR5, and like also like you get better dynamic range in everything, from like your regular photos to your portrait photos to your night mode photos. So that's definitely interesting. When lighting is bright, or oh my god, Apple is like specifically using the example of like where iPhones usually are behind high-end Androids currently, which is this would be way darker here, right? Either he would be dark and then everything else would be brighter than what you see, or you would really get like really dark everything outside of like him being bright. So this is exactly what people wanting, and Apple apparently is really making sure to also compensate nice for like accurate color and skin tones. Okay, yeah, Alexander, you're from France. So you know what I say when I say like voulez-vous coucher avec moi? You missed my last stream. I was like debating with people like something about France, and then I was like unapologetic about me using bad French pronunciations, and that this is the only sentence that I know how to say in France. The True Depth camera also uses the latest Smart HDR, night mode, and portrait enhancements, which Apple also like pointed out that like the LiDAR sensor on the back is like used for night portrait mode or night photography in general. So I wonder if like the front camera is now even better at utilizing the Face ID sensors. Shift, zoom, steady, and cut. Oh, that's a cool effect. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I really liked. Oh, I didn't. Like, you can get those kinds of things with like some pro video capture apps, but this looks like really neato. Like, this really is cool. Pro Video now with more Pro. Well, they do now have also like AV1, right? This is also what I really wanted to say about like A17, right? I did point out how like 10% CPU and 20% GPU performance upgrades are not that much. It has also like 2 times faster neural engines, which, as I've said during the stream, is pretty big given how many system tasks are now handled by the neural engine. And also the other point is Apple specifically pointed out that they have like new encoders and decoders, including now for AV1, which also probably is like a big deal for anybody on the Mac, which means that if somebody wants to get like Macs for video production, you would likely might want to wait. Like if you're already on like M1, like wait until you get like AV1 in like M3 or M4 based Macs. Alexander, Mark, I do live in France, but not continental France. Also, I'm Bulgarian. Okay, now it gets complicated, but I will try to remember. Yes, France is a beautiful country. The people are not very nice to foreigners, is what I remember from visiting France. But like Paris is a little more like open in that regard. It's a little like contradictory. It's not like they're outright racist or something to you. It's just they tend to like not be like, you know, like hello friendly, right? They look at you with like this serious look. But that was like 12 years ago. So we have lock encoding, also support for ACES, so a ton of cameras, ton of color accuracy stuff. And then we got to spatial video capture, which will be available later this year. So this is why it wasn't in the tech specs. So I wonder if it would be like compatible with some kind of 3D TV or something. I don't know in what format Apple is even capturing this. So that's interesting, definitely, by all accounts. So they are getting ready for like Vision Pro. Oh my god, they're talking a lot about the cameras. Guys, I think I'll be tuning out for now, because I am pretty like done for at this point. And I think I will be streaming again tomorrow, probably at like my usual like well, pretty much in 24 hours, right? Maybe I could consider starting an hour earlier than I usually do, but I think for now I have set my piece on the iPhone. I have said that I really like it. I like the titanium. I like the camera upgrades. The action button here, it's the last thing basically I will cover, maybe except for USB-C. Like you have silent mode, focus mode. It also all works with like the dynamic island, which is cool. Flashlight. Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know it did that. Voice memos, translate functionality, magnifier, shortcut, and then any kind of like with shortcut and accessibility, there are obviously a ton of stuff you could configure there. Gigablast your gigabits. It's 10 gigabit, which is, I believe, what the Galaxy S23 Ultra is capable of. And I do think that this should be like the minimum also for like the 15, for like the 16 and 16 Plus. But who knows? There's also the chance that Apple might get rid of the Plus as well, and maybe only sell us a 16 and then like a 16 Pro and 16 Ultra. given that the Plus has not sold that well thus far. But yeah, this should not stay exclusive to the Pros is what I'm saying. Silicon, yeah, you are from Germany. I almost forgot, but then I remembered. Explore connectivity. So it does have Wi-Fi 6E, which, by the way, if we go to like iPhone compare, right? So if we go with the 15 Pro Max versus, let's say, the 15 Plus, and then the 14 Pro Max. So Command F, let's look as for Wi-Fi. No, wait. Let's look at 6E. Yeah, like 6E is reserved for the Pro Max phone. So if somebody wants the fastest Wi-Fi, get the Pro phones. Bluetooth is the same. 4.4 MIMO for 5G. I do assume they still use the newer like Qualcomm modem, but they don't usually advertise like any difference here. So yeah, this was connectivity. This is the phone that I'm buying, Titan Blue, for with 1 terabyte of storage. That's really nice. I've said a lot. I've ordered the Apple Watch, right? This is my Apple Watch. Order now. This was the only big disappointment for me during the event. No Titan Blue Apple Watch Ultra. Yes, and I got it with the Alpine Loop in blue. Though I will probably like keep using my leather band for the most part. Maybe I'll consider getting something FineWoven, but yeah, it's I don't know yet. Right, like let me just look very quickly here at like iPhone accessories. Oh, by the way, Silicon Magic, here you wanted like iCloud Plus, right? Can you get see that here? Upgrade. No, they don't offer that yet. Origin, you rejoined us. Well, you rejoined us at a pretty late moment, unfortunately. But yeah, well, at this point you missed me ordering the Apple Watch Ultra, and you missed me talking a lot about specifically the iPhone that I'm interested in. But for now we are basically done. I'm sorry, like does anybody have any like big questions that you would be interested in me answering? Because I still have like a family health emergency to basically deal with. It's not very emergency-esque anymore, but I do have to do a few phone calls and stuff, and it's been now what has been like, it's been on almost, no, it's a 3-hour stream at this point, so I am kind of really done here. Okay. Oh yeah, well, that's actually interesting. Is it? Yeah, so we do now get braided USB-C but 2.0 speed cables, so I'll probably get myself like a nice like oh yeah, that's also interesting. What about like iPhone? Oh, I switched to the German side, I'm sorry. Let me go here and like iPhone. My internet also refuses to now cooperate. So iPhone accessories. For one, you do now get the AirPods Pro with USB-C. You get it too. Oh, that's really nice. Apple like really advertises it as a 240 watts USB-C charge cable. That's actually really good. Like I know it's likely USB 2 speeds, right? But for just charging, this is actually not bad. Does Apple have USB 3 cables is my question. They have Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is new. 1.8 meters, $129. 3 meters is actually not that bad, $160, but I'm not really in the mood for another 3-meter cable. I wouldn't know really what to do with it. Wait, do they not have like just USB 3 cables? Oh, they do have USB-C to Lightning adapter. That is nice. Oh, they don't have extra like power adapters. That's interesting. I kind of expected them to offer something, right? Silicon, no, they don't just have Thunderbolt. Don't know if I like that. Look at FineWoven here with me, guys. Mulberry. Oh, so the leaked colors were also correct, by the way. Black. I'm really curious how that... Oh my god, that looks so good. Oh. Oh, oh. Guys, do you like this as much as I do? Like, look how this comes together. Oh my god, I might get a FineWoven one. Oh, and it ships in 1 business day. What? You know what? I'm ordering this and we're doing an unboxing together, because I think that will actually be really dope. So I apologize for like FineWoven. Right? It's not gonna fit my 13 Pro Max, but I can approximate some stuff with it. So iPhone 15 Pro, in German it's called FineWoven, and I'm gonna order it in Pacific Blue. It's $70 in euro, which is I'm completely fine with, and it's gonna be delivered on Friday. I'm not gonna pay extra for a delivery on Thursday because I have other plans on Thursday anyway. So delivery on Friday. Yep, that's all correct. iPhone. Oh, I'm almost ordering the 15 Pro version, not the 15 Pro Max. I'm sorry about that. There it is. And I'm getting the Pacific Blue. Check out with Apple Pay. It seems everything is still like orderable. That was orderable before that. So Friday, continue with Apple Pay, changing my shipping address to this and confirming it. Good. So I spent basically a cool grand right now with like the Apple Watch Ultra, and which is gonna come next Friday. And then I ordered the iPhone case, which is gonna come this Friday. I'm sorry, we actually have more people watching than I expected at this point, so I try to stay energetic for all of you guys. But yeah, so I did order this. If anybody was curious, I have ordered the 15. This is the 15 Pro. I ordered the Pro Max version in Pacific Blue. It's gorgeous. I really like it, and I really would like to compare it with like regular leather. I'll probably gonna steal like my mom's red leather case from her 10s, because I don't have a leather case for my 13 Pro Max. And black, yeah, I don't like the black. It looks too gray for me. Yeah, so great. Let's very quickly check what Mac rumors might have to say. Yeah, it's £100 cheaper in the UK. So Apple adds 6 terabyte. So how much does it cost? The new 6 terabyte plan is $29.99, and 12 terabytes. Oh, that's not good pricing. That should be at most $50. Silicon Magic, you were asking, $30 or $60? Yeah, so the cases. Yeah, I'm interested only here in the FineWoven stuff. And the FineWoven stuff seems to be for now the same across plus the non-pros and pros. I'm actually surprised there's a new green iPhone. There were no leaks about this. I think there were like some last week leaks or something. I actually didn't cover iPhone colors that much in my videos. Though I think if you guys missed it, that's probably because I mostly missed it. Yeah, that's expensive, but like 6 terabytes is not that bad. Right? Like, what's the price difference between? I think the prices scale pretty much, right? It's like, what's the current? Yeah, it's $10 for 2 terabytes. Yeah, so the prices scale. For a second, I thought that 2 terabytes was $15, so that would make it cheaper per gigabyte. Yeah, that's not a great deal. Yeah. For comparison, Google's 5 and 10 terabyte cloud storage plan costs $25 and $50. Wow, so the scaling is pretty much exactly the same. Apple is not offering you worse value than Google's plan. So if you want actually cloud storage, you don't get to pay significantly less on the other plans. Though I kind of have to say that, like, I think it would have been cool if Apple offered you like 6 terabyte for the same price as Google offers 5. But don't forget that for Apple, servers are actually more expensive than Google, because Google does have their own like server infrastructure by default. So the fact that Apple offers you pretty much exactly the same value here is actually not bad. Though it kind of, I think it's not worse, I should say. It's definitely still bad. I think this should be like $25. I think this should be like $20. And then we would be talking about some decent value. They did not bring up euro prices, but I've told you before that the euro prices are actually better. And I'm probably gonna bring up some German sources and stuff like that when we do our stream tomorrow. Yeah, but for now, that's it, guys. Even Mac Rumors does not have that much more stuff. So let's just go back to like Apple's homepage, where they confirm everything we expected. 15 Pro, 15, Apple Watch Series 9, Apple Watch Ultra 2, and a major step toward making all our products carbon neutral by 2030. We are now 3 hours into the stream. I apologize for having had some technical issues. I apologize for eating and drinking in a way I usually don't, but I have not eaten that much today, and it was a long stream. I'm really curious about what you guys have to say once you had like a night to sleep on all those announcements. It's been kind of a crazy cycle for my channel. Obviously, we are at 176 subscribers. That's not that many by the grand scheme of YouTube, but it's been a very nice growth since like basically 100 subs a little over a month ago. So thank you for Linus Tech Tips for their drama. Thank you Apple for announcing all this stuff. Thank you all also, guys, for like talking with me about iPads and Macs in a way that usually outperformed like iPhone videos. And we now have 8 people watching, so I would like to wrap it up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Please like this video, comment on it if you have something interesting to say. Please consider following me on Twitter. The link is in the description to my channel. And if you want to support me directly, I have forgotten to create a cheaper Patreon link yet, a cheaper Patreon subscription basically. But if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do that as well. And just with everything, I love your comments. I love everything you contribute. Origin, I know you just said you inspire me too. That means the world to me, brother. I assume brother, if you're sister or non-binary. We have had, I somehow ended my last stream with like saying, obviously when I say guys, I don't mean just guys, I mean like girls and people who don't feel like chained to any concrete gender definition. But yeah, I kind of assume that most of you guys are male, pretty much because the YouTube analysis on YouTube Studio tells me that. So I apologize if I ever like get out of hand and call you by a gender or even like a nickname that you wouldn't feel comfortable with. But still, Origin, you're saying brother, so then you get like brother from me, and that will do it nicely for now. You have all the nice YouTube things that you could do, and I'll see you guys either tomorrow or the day after that. As always, I will let you know, both on Twitter and of course you can see on YouTube if you hit the notification bell for my channel. So thank you guys for an amazing experience. This is Mark Tech, tuning out.